What's up, dudes? So, deer season is over. It's now January here in Tennessee, so can't chase the deer anymore. But luckily, there's always something to do. In the wintertime, I like to trap fish, crappie fish, get ready for turkey season, duck hunt, goose hunt, and sometimes even find some mushrooms in the wintertime. And usually this time of year what I'm finding are going to be oyster mushrooms or pleurotus species. And that's what I found here today, right behind me here. So I'm going to give you guys a brief explanation on these and probably do a catch and cook later. So show you how I'll cook them up as well. Alright guys, so I want to start out by saying if you are trying to do some mushroom foraging, you need to do your own research. You need to get a field guide. You can join groups online to help you positively ID the things that you're looking for. The last thing you want to do is eat a mushroom that can harm you or give it to somebody else and harm them. So you really need to know what you're looking at and know what you're looking for. So with that being said, this here is a cluster of oyster mushrooms. And how I can tell these are oyster mushrooms, these are growing in a shelf here, kind of soft flesh, and they're always growing on wood. They're always going to be growing out of trees, usually dead or dying trees. And if you get under here, you can see the gills. They run all the way down to the stem. There are several types of oyster mushrooms, like a lot. A lot of them haven't even been identified. But all true oyster mushrooms are edible. They're actually considered a choice edible mushroom. So this is a great find. I kind of knew where to look because there was some growing on this tree last year. So usually once you find a tree that they're growing on, you can try to go back maybe the same time next year. And I've been keeping an eye on this tree. And sure enough, these popped up about 2 weeks ago, and I've been waiting for them to get big enough to pick. So now let's try to pick some here. Alright, so now I've positively ID'd these as being oyster mushrooms. So now I'm going to take these bad boys off. Now with these are growing in big clumps, big groups together. So you can usually get under there and try to get it off in one piece. If you get at the base of it, you see all that white stuff in there. It's what you call mycelium. And mushrooms, they don't have roots, but that would be, I guess, equal to roots if you're thinking of it in the matter of a plant. But totally a different thing. It's basically a underground network of cells and growth, which the mushroom fruit comes out of. Alright, so I want to show you guys how you can tell these are oyster mushrooms. A big way is to flip them upside down, and you see these gills here. They run all the way down to the base of the stem, and that is a huge telltale sign that you got some oyster mushrooms. You combine that with they are growing in clusters like this, and they're also growing off wood, which sometimes they might look like they're growing out of the ground, but it could be like a decomposed tree covered up by leaves. But they're going to be growing out of wood, and they're going to be in clusters, and usually this gray brown color. Like I said, there's a lot of different kinds of oyster mushrooms, and don't take my word for it, you need to look it up for yourself. But another big thing is just these gills right here running all the way down, and this is a beautiful specimen. And if you see the gray stuff on top of the mushroom in there, you might not be able to see it, but those are actually the spores dropping from the gills. Think of spores kind of like seeds. They're not seeds, they're different, but it's kind of a good way to equate it. And so basically the mushroom here has already started dropping its spores. I think this mushroom is, usually I find them a little bit bigger, but I feel like this one's pretty good. I already see some new clusters popping out here, so I might be able to come back and get those. And I'm going to leave these here. I'm going to leave some behind so that way there's plenty of mycelium to continue to grow, so I can get some off of us next year maybe. And yeah, so pretty much this mycelium's growing all in this tree. You can't really see it, but when the moisture and temperature are right, they'll fruit mushrooms. That's what we got now. So I'm going to show you guys how to cook them. I'm going to have to do a little cleaning, a little bit of dirt on these. But yeah, we're going to cook some up for dinner. I'm going to show you what's up with that. Alright friends, we got our oyster mushrooms here. As you can see, I cleaned the dirt off of them and I cut them up into pieces. I'm thinking like bite-sized pieces is what I'm thinking. All this is edible. You want to cook mushrooms. If you find some wild mushrooms, you want to cook them before you eat them. Do not eat raw mushrooms that are wild picked. So what I'm going to do with these is we're going to do a deep fry, because I'm a redneck. So we got these here, and I got some milk, whole milk, with some Valentina in there, and just some flour with some Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. And then back here I got my grease piping hot. So I'm going to coat these up. We're going to put them in there and fry them, and it'll be nice and simple. I already got some sausage cooked. I think the boys about eat all that. Don't worry about my dirty dishes over there. Got some eggs frying and some butter. What do you need? Alright, let's get these dredged up here. Alright, y'all. So, put these mushrooms here in my milk mixture. You don't got to use that. You can use buttermilk, eggs, whatever. Just treat it like fried chicken or something like that. So, got these in here soaking. Now we're going to throw them in here. We're going to throw them in here. We're going to throw them in here. And we're just going to dredge them up here. I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to do a single dredge, and then we're going to do a double dredge. Alright, so that looks good and dredged to me. Put it in the hot popping grease. Oh, good Lord. Alex, get back, buddy. I don't want you to get burned up here. One more piece in there somewhere. Alright, we're going to let them fry up for just a minute, and I'll show you what they look like. Alright, here's a moment of truth. Nice crispy oyster mushroom. Oh man, that's good, dude. Honestly, reminds me a lot of morels. Really good, man. Earthy. Oh, it's just delicious. If you get a big mess of that and cook them for your friends and family, they're going to appreciate it. And man, thanks for watching another episode. I gotta get off here and eat this breakfast before it gets cold, but hopefully that gives you a little insight on how you can get some oyster mushrooms and cook them up. Man, I'm gonna get another one real quick. Alright, see you later.